Does it still feel any different playing a former team that you spent 18 years with?
Again, it would feel different if it was going back to Green Bay. But I have a lot of love for the organization. But, if we were playing Lambeau, that would be a little different feeling for sure.
What are your emotions heading into Sunday?
Just excited about the game.
How close are you with some of the guys? There's not that many guys left that were there when you were
Ain't
there.
that many guys, yeah. I don't know many of the guys over there. The guys I talked to, and I was looking at my phone, I got a text from the photographer, Evan, I love. The nutritionist, Adam, hit me up yesterday. My longtime buddy, Nate, one of the trainers, hit me up Monday. So I was with those guys for the majority of the 18 years, with Evan for about 12 to 15 and Adam for about the same and Nate for 18 and some of the equipment guys for a long time. Flea, Brian, the head trainer for all 18. So a lot of great relationships over there.
You've talked about the prestige of both the Steelers organization and the Packers. Did you see similarities in the close-knitness maybe of the Steelers organization when you were looking at coming here in free agency? Were there similarities between here and Green Bay that stood out to you or that made this appealing to you?
Well, Mike T made it appealing to me, but I was around Pittsburgh people my entire football career, starting with Mike McCarthy for 13 years. Mike's from Greenfield, and his love for this city and how he talked about it and playing with Dom Capers on the staff and Darren Perry and Kevin Green and Ben McAdoo in my room and Frank Signetti and Luke Getsy, Alex Van Pelt, a lot of people from this area. So I knew a lot about it just from talking to those guys. I knew what a great sports town it is, what a great tradition the Steelers have, and that was definitely a part of it. But like I said, Mike T was the first reason.
Kind of on the same note, how special is it to play for two iconic franchises, as you called them when you first got here?
Yeah, there's only a few of those kind of cornerstone franchises in the league, and Packers obviously been around for over 100 years, and Steelers been around for a long time. We've got a great history. It's a great sports town. We were at the hockey game last night, saw Sid score a goal, and Sid, Letang, and Gino all been on the team, I think, 21 years, which is amazing. I'm in my 21st season, so I know how hard it is to stick around as long as those guys have. So there's something special about the connection. I'm in the suite with Mario's bodyguard Jay up there. Had a great conversation with him. Kiesel's in there as well. I played against Kiesel. That's one of the cool things that Kiesel and I were talking about last night, how in Green Bay and in Pittsburgh there's iconic players, and they come back around, and they live in the city, and they call Pittsburgh home full time, and there's something special about that. Always said there's something in the water when you look at the great quarterbacks that have come from the area, but it's fun to be a part of this organization and the iconic Packers organization for so long too.
Aaron, when you played against Cleveland, what did you like about how you and the offensive line handled Garrett? And is any of that applicable to Parsons this week, or is he deployed completely different?
Well, he's deployed maybe a little different because he moves around a little bit more than maybe Miles does. But, again, those two are in the conversation of the very few players in the league that you actually have to have four hands on at all times. We felt this way about our guy here, TJ. We played him last year. We wanted to make sure he wasn't getting a lot of singles. And played against Micah before. He's a phenomenal player. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's a game record. And you got to know where he's at all times.
Watching last Thursday's game, I couldn't help but think about the 2009 game the Packers at Heinz Field. Were you thinking about that game at all?
2009?
Yeah. I think it was 37-36.
I remember that game. Yeah, we had a big night throwing it. Starting with Greg down the middle for about 85. And then James Jones, on the shake route to go ahead, and then Ben let him down the field. Back shoulder Mike for the win. No, I wasn't thinking about that game, but that was a fun game to the last seconds.
Aaron, have you are you in any contact with Jordan Love at all? And he's been very, he's talked about how your impact on him early in his career, and what have you made of his development?
Yeah, I texted with him last week because they had played a couple common opponents, so we had a couple texts back and forth. He's a great kid, man. He really is. I enjoyed my time with him. I'm not surprised by how he's playing. He's playing great. His progression was like mine, kind of where you just kind of first year you're getting your feet wet, second year you feel a little bit more confident. By the time the third year comes around, you're ready to play. I had my kind of moment in 07 against Dallas, where I came in when Brett got hurt and played well. He had kind of his moment against Philly in 22, where he came in, I got banged up, and he looked great. And I think that was kind of the message to the organization that this guy is ready to play. I felt like it in 07. He probably felt like it in 22. So really happy for him. He's one of the real good guys in the league. I'm sure his leadership is continuing to grow over there. But I like the way he's playing. You know, he's super accurate. He's taking care of the football. He's being opportunistic, making great throws down the field and using his legs as well.
You know, when you guys played in 09, when Brett came in, when you guys played the Vikings for the first time, Brett had a big game. It was considered like a quote Brett Favre revenge game. And obviously, the dynamic there when he left was different than maybe when you did. Is that an apples to apples comparison in terms of emotions?
No.
Not you don't view this as a quote revenge opportunity or whatever narrative we want to try to throw out there?
I don't.
How do you view this then?
Why not? Well, Brett got traded, and then he went to one of the hated rivals. You know, I was in New Jersey for a couple of years. I don't have any animosity toward the organization. Obviously, I wish that, you know, things have been better in our last year there, but, you know, I have a great relationship with a lot of people still in that organization. And this is not a revenge game for me. I'm just excited to see some of those guys and be on Sunday Night Football again.
Have your feelings toward the organization evolved the longer you've been away from them, that not feeling animosity? Is that something you kind of had to work to feel, or work to get to this point?
We're always working on ourselves and trying to be better than we were previous day, previous month, previous year. But absence makes the heart grow fonder, maybe. You know, I have a lot of great memories from my time there. A lot of great interactions with fans over the years, you know, living in Green Bay, living in Swamico, living in Hobart, going to Chives, being out and about, seeing people at the Piggly Wiggly when I'm shopping for groceries. I grew up there. I spent 18 years there, from 21 to 39, so I'm thankful for my time there. Obviously, would have loved to ride off in the sunset after a Super Bowl win, but that's not the way the league goes sometimes. And you know, I knew the writing was on the wall when Jordan was picked. And as a matter of time, I happened to win MVP the first 2 years he was with us. But I knew at some point there would be a change, and if I wanted to play, it'd probably have to be elsewhere. So I understand the situation. You know, we live and we learn, and I have nothing but love and appreciation for the fan base, for the city of Green Bay, for the city of Swamico and Hobart, where I lived for so many years. I'm excited to see a lot of those people.
Aaron, the Packers are one of the best defenses at limiting big plays, and you guys have had a lot of big plays yourself this year. What do you guys have to do to counter what they do really well on defense, especially in the cohesion on the back end?
Yeah, I mean, they're at the top of the league in the least amount of explosives in the run game and the pass game. So we got to take care of the football. We got to block up their rushers. You know, it's not just Micah. You know, Rashawn is an elite pass rusher now. They got good guys inside. They have some younger guys rush on the outside who can play as well. You know, the second level, Quay, I played with him and saw him as a rookie. He's developed and become a really good player in the league. Cooper's a really good player in the league as well. You know, he's definitely gotten better. Keyshawn, you know, was our punt returner and kick returner. Love Keyshawn. What a great dude. And now he's at number one corner, and he's been playing really well. They added McKinney on the back end, who had a huge year last year and definitely has been playing great, you know, since the day he got there. So you got to be patient, and you can't turn the ball over, and we got to block it up front.
Aaron, how do you feel about the trajectory of this offense right now?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel like we're moving in the right direction. You know, we've started to figure out what our identity is, and we've gotten, obviously, Spence a lot of opportunities as our sixth lineman on the field. It's kind of given the team some issues, run the football. Jalen has been really dynamic, and it's kind of been a different guy every week, I feel like. You know, DK obviously had a big game against the Vikings, and you know, then Pat comes back last week and had a huge game. So it's different guys every week, but Jalen and Kenny have been really consistent for us, and our line's been blocking really well the last 3 weeks.
Is it an improved comfort level for you then, as well? Just given the time you spent, are you more comfortable with what you're doing out there?
I'm definitely more comfortable with what I'm doing, and I'm more comfortable when I'm staying clean. The only tackle I had the other night was Broderick. So other than that, I'm feeling pretty good.
What went through your mind when he tackled you in that celebratory moment?
Rod is always the first one to come find me after a play. It could be like the first big pass down to DK on 3rd down. He's coming and dapping me up. And what you don't see in the video is right after the throw, he's coming over to me and shaking me and shaking me. And like I text him, I say, hey, man, I love your energy. I love everything you're about. But also, I'm 41, okay? You can't be out there tackling me like that. But I love Brad. We had a couple laughs about it. And, I told him I'm getting him next. You better watch his back.
I was going to ask you about
Two more.
You brought up Pat before. Was that the dawn of some more that can come for him, or was that more of a matchup-specific thing with the Bengals? How did that bear fruit in that game?
I think so much, media narratives are around, targets and different guys, getting open, making plays. And in actuality, it depends on the defense that they're playing. And I like to throw it to the guys that are open. And depending on the coverages and the schemes that we face, some guys might have more opportunities than others. And this just happened to be a game where when we were in 12 and he was in the slot, he had some opportunities vertical. So I'm proud of Pat. The one thing that I tried to highlight after the game that I thought was most impressive was this is a tough league to play in because every single week, if you want to, you can read about how great you are or how terrible you are. And I try and remind guys not to stay in that roller coaster, but if you're not getting targets and you're a high money guy and you want to be an impact on game day, it's got to be tough on the psyche, on the confidence. But Pat never about anything. He's never making it about him. And I think there's a lot to be said for that in this day and age with a guy who can really be a team guy and know that at some point my number's going to get called and I got to make the plays. And on Thursday night, his number got called in crunch time, 3rd and 18 on the 19-yard line to catch a touchdown, and then 2nd and 20 late in the game to go ahead. I mean, I give him a lot of credit, not just as a player, but as a person for the way he carried himself and his attitude through that.
Aaron,
last one
here,
last one. On the Hail Mary.
What?
70 air yards on the Hail Mary. Where's that? I mean, what did you do at 28? How far could you throw at 28? And could you have thrown it further?
Well, the ball came off good. I felt like I was trying to get to my spot. The best throw of my life is the 2015 Hail Mary, because although that one didn't go as far, it went way the hell higher. Almost hit the Raptors up there in Ford Field, but the ball came off good. I thought we had a chance. I think we need to be a little tighter in some of those end-of-game situations because I'm trying to throw the ball 2 yards deep in the end zone on the numbers on that play, and we weren't all in the right spot at the right time. So we got to have everybody on the same page in those crunch time situations. You might only get 1 or 2 times a season. We got to be perfect. But the line blocked up the way we wanted to, and I threw the way I wanted to, and we had a chance.